Now in this course section, as mentioned, we're going to use a dummy third-party service as a backend, and we're going to use Firebase, which is a service offered by Google, but you could of course use any backend. This is just one example for this course section, and the advantage of Firebase is that it's a combination of services and database features that you can easily use and with which you can get started for free as long as you have a Google account. And we can use this Firebase service to practice sending requests from Flutter to such a backend. That's why we're going to use it, and we can get started with it by simply searching for Firebase and visiting its website. And then there you must log into your Google account so that you then can go to their console, and once logged in, you can create a new project. Now you can give this project any name of your choice, and then click Continue. You don't need to enable Google Analytics. And with that, this new project gets created. And I want to mention right away that Firebase actually offers many services, which we're not going to use here, which could be useful for your projects. But we're not going to use them here. But instead, we're just going to use it as a dummy backend because Firebase, thankfully, makes it quite easy and straightforward to send requests to it, and to store data in a database by sending certain kinds of requests to Firebase. That's why we're using it here for this demo. So with the new project created, you can then go to Build here on the left, and there to Real-Time Database. And that's the service we're going to use here. So it is a service that allows us to send HTTP requests that are formatted in a certain way to certain URLs to store data in this Firebase managed database. Now the URLs to which you can send requests to store data can be found if you search for Firebase Real-Time Database REST. And this will lead you to the official documentation of the so-called REST API, which is a documentation of the URLs you can send requests to and how these requests should be configured to, for example, get data, store data, and so on. Now, we'll see all of that in action. I'm just showing this here so that you know where all this knowledge is coming from and how you could dive deeper. Here, we just need to create such a real-time database, and the region here does not matter. And now under security rules, it's important that you start in test mode. This will ensure that we are able to send data and get data from this API without any issues. If you were using this for a real app, you would want to start in logged mode, and you would also want to learn more about authenticating requests, but here we'll start in test mode. So with that, we got the backend set up, and we can now come back to our Flutter app to send requests to that backend from there. And here I'm again going to use this shopping list app from the previous course section, but of course sending requests with HTTP to a backend could be done from inside any Flutter app.